Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to sit down and share with you guys my top tips for keeping holidays magical without being stressful. We don't need to be Pinterest moms, but we still want magic, but we also don't want to feel completely burnt out, you know? I feel like there is a balance that's can be achieved. I feel like I do a pretty good job of achieving it. So I wanted to sit down and just share what I've learned over the years to keep the holiday really stress-free so that I actually enjoy it while still being magical and special for the kids. Okay, let's dive right in because I need to go cook dinner soon. My number one tip is to spread it out so that you, the parent, actually gets to enjoy the season too. Too often I find that we're trying to cram all of these magical holiday activities into 3 weeks before Christmas, and it is stressful, it is chaotic, because not only are we trying to cram in all these magical things, we have our normal lives to still attend to. We still have kids to take care of. There's still work. There's still a house. There's still everything you would normally have to do. Plus Christmas shopping and all of that stuff. It can be really, really stressful if you're trying to cram it into too short of a time. Now you don't have to be like me and put up your tree on November 1st, but that is the big reason why I do start the season early so that we get 2 full months of magic so that it's not so stressful for me. So whatever this looks like for you, if that means putting up your tree a little bit early, then do it. If that means starting Christmas activities a little bit earlier before December, maybe a week or 2, just to give yourself a little bit of buffer time, so that you can just spread out all these activities so you don't just completely exhaust you and your kids, because they get exhausted too, and then when they're exhausted it's just chaos and it's not fun for anybody. My next big tip is embrace hygge. If you're not familiar with the term hygge, it is big. It used to be this big trendy thing, and now I think people kind of forgot about it, with any trend. But it's not just a trend, it's this big, it's a huge part of life in the Nordic countries. And it is just embracing coziness. I have a video on hygge and how to embrace it, actually, that I will try and remember to put in the end card. So when this video ends, you can click on that if you want to learn more about that. Hey Finn, do you mind your toenails? By embracing hygge and embracing winter and embracing the season though, it slows everything down. So it makes you be more intentional about the atmosphere and how you're feeling. It kind of brings you back into the moment every single day. It's simple things, again, go watch that video if you want to, or do some Googling, but it's simple things like cozying up your space with extra blankets, having warm meals, making sure you're intentional about sitting down and having a tea and a treat in the afternoon, nice lighting, good company that makes you feel good, snuggling with your family and watching a movie and making time for those things. It really slows down the season and makes it much more enjoyable, not only for you as the parent, but for the entire family. Because at the end of the day, we can do all these activities, we can spend all this money, we can do whatever we want to do like that. But the things your family is going to remember is the intentional time you spent with them. The things your kids are going to remember are the curling up on the couch to watch a Christmas movie. They're gonna remember being in the kitchen with you baking or having that nice candlelight dinner. So definitely make sure you're carving out time for that, and it makes the entire season just more enjoyable for everybody. My next tip would be to plan your activities in advance. So if you're gonna do Advent activities, if you have traditions you do every year, pull out your calendar in November, pull out your December calendar, and take a look at when works for you to make these things happen. Spread them out so it's not so overwhelming. See where you can put things, but also plan things like your Advent activities. If you do Advent activities, make a list and plan out what you're gonna do every day. If you want to do some elf on the shelf stuff, make an elf on the shelf list, 1 to 24, and write down what the elf is gonna do every single day, so that later all you have to do is pull out your list and, okay, I'm gonna do that. Do yourself favors. I always like to say I love to do future me favors like that. I like to do kind things for future me. So planning in advance is a really awesome one. I'm sorry if you can hear my little dog. My Chihuahua needs his nails trimmed and he's pacing on the floor and all I can hear is tip tap tip tap tip tap. is just the culprit. He has very long nails. Daddy has to trim your nails. Okay, you can just sit with me. Featuring Finn, the Christmas pupper, with the very long nails. Look at those long nails. Okay, another huge tip to make it so much more simple is let go of being a Pinterest mom. Most of us have, but like what I mean by a Pinterest mom is if you are really just like, oh, I want to make it so magical and the North Pole breakfast has to be perfect. Like, you guys know I do all these magical things. I can maybe come across as like a Pinterest mom, but if you look at what I do, it's all very simple. Like our North Pole breakfast, whatever. I throw stuff together and the kids love it, regardless of how much effort I've been able to put into it every year. So like, let go of the perfectionism. Perfectionism doesn't belong at Christmas time, and it certainly doesn't belong anywhere near children. So just give yourself lots of grace. Let yourself be. Like, yes, do the fun activities, but if it doesn't work out perfectly, it's okay. Lower your expectations. Just don't worry about being this perfect holiday mom, because you showing up is going to be so much better than anything you could perfectly pull together. I mean, if you can manage being a Pinterest mom with like curated, beautiful Christmas parties and stuff, more power to you. That's amazing. It's not something I can do. I feel like it's not something a lot of us can handle. So don't beat yourself up if that's not you. Another huge tip is to simplify all of the things. That kind of goes in with like, don't be a perfect Pinterest mom. Don't try and be that way. But if you simplify all of the activities that you're gonna do in the holiday, it will make it so much easier on you and your kids will not care. Don't add extra stress where it doesn't need to be. Simplify your Elf on the Shelf. If you really want to do Elf on the Shelf and your kids really want to do it, I know there's a lot of people that won't even touch it with a 10-foot pole because they're like, I don't need to be doing that. Good for you. But there's a lot of people that do it. You don't need to do elaborate Elf on the Shelf things, for example. My kids, we do kindness elves. They don't, like, our elves don't do naughty things. The thing that they love the absolute most that our elves do is play hide and seek. They will love 24 days of the elves just hiding and them having to hunt them down and find where they've hidden every single day. Keep it simple. Like, whatever it is that you're doing, I'm just using the Elf on a Shelf as an example, but like, simplify it. Don't make it overcomplicated because it's just going to add stress to you and your kids likely will not care. Focus on simple activities that you can be really present for, that can bring in that Christmas joy and that Christmas magic without breaking the bank, without requiring a ton of time and effort, but are still just as magical. Things like going for a light walk or a light drive to go look at Christmas lights, grabbing cocoa. You want to make cocoa at home and take it in the car with you? Awesome. You want to run through the drive-thru, grab some hot chocolates and go for a drive? Awesome. Very minimal effort, very big impact. Things like setting the mood for if you're gonna like do, let's say, a baking like day with your kids. Set everything out, set the mood. You want to do a candle at dinner, like, you know, light candles around the house, dim the lights, put the Christmas tree on, get a movie ready, get those cozy blankets out, just set the tone, and you'll find that everything goes so much smoother. Everybody in the house, your whole family, will kind of feed off that energy and off each other, and it will just be naturally like more magical and more lovely to be in that space together. So again, like if you want to pull out a movie or a Christmas book or sit down and do a read aloud, listen to an audiobook, something like that, just like those cozy little family moments, but setting the mood for them makes all the difference. It makes them run so much more smoothly. Again, this is kind of pulling that hygge idea in, but it seriously makes a huge difference. And I know I mentioned baking, but just make sure if you're gonna bake with your kids, like don't have high expectations. You know, just like be willing to let go, and there's gonna be a mess and it's not going to come out perfect. Just try and focus on like having fun in the moment. It's not about what the cookies look like at the end. It's the journey, right, to the cookies with your kids, and that's where you're making those little magic moments. If you want to do Christmas crafts, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Go to the dollar store and get a Christmas craft kit and bring that home and set it up for the kids. Again, set that mood. Just spread it all out, unpackage everything, and be like, hey, I've got a Christmas craft for you guys to do. Let's sit down and do this together. They will think that is just as magical as if you like pulled out all of the stops and did some big crafternoon. A dollar store crafting kit is just as good, makes just as much magic. So again, just keep it simple. And then another thing you can do in this category is attend any free or cheap easy events. I don't know where you live and how it is, but in most places, I would assume, like our town hosts a lot of free or easy, simple Christmas events that are already set up for you. You really just have to show up. My town does a Santa Claus parade, and they do light drives, and they do this big light walk where there's food trucks and cocoa and Santa Claus, and you go walk around like our huge baseball diamonds, and they have them all decorated with Christmas displays. Some local stores will have like craft days or whatever, just community events that just make, all you have to do is show up. So don't forget to utilize those, because again, that takes a lot of the stress out if you don't have to actually facilitate the activity. Another big one that I've said a couple of times here is just be present. Like genuinely be present. Turn your phone off, put it down. Don't worry about the stress. Like try and be in the moment like you would if you were out with your friends or whatever, you know, like be in the moment with your kids and with your family, and just be present, because it is the biggest way we can create magic with our kids. They just want to spend time with us. They just want us there. They just want to look in our eyes. They just want to make jokes with us. They want to feel heard. They want to be seen. They just want to be with us. So try your best to practice being present. I know that's not easy for a lot of parents in this, like, especially modern day parenting has become really detached naturally. So just focusing on being present. Laugh easily. Do you know how many women and mothers especially have lost their ability to easily laugh? That's so sad, right? Let yourself laugh easily with your kids. You know, appreciate their silly fart joke and genuinely like let it be silly. Let yourself laugh. Let yourself be in that moment. Genuinely just try to actually have fun. That stiffness, as if you're like trying to force it, is going to be felt. So just let go and try and actually genuinely have fun and just be there. Just show up. Because like I had said before, like an involved parent is going to trump any perfect activity that you could ever put on. You could host the nicest Christmas holiday party event, North Pole breakfast, Polar Express party, whatever you want to do. It could be the nines. You could spend all the money. It could be perfectly catered. Your kids, if they had that and then they had a, you know, baking evening and movies, and you had a pizza picnic on the floor and it was silly and everybody was laughing, they're gonna pick that over the curated thing every single time, because a present parent trumps all else. Okay, my last 2 tips of advice for making this season magical without adding a bunch of stress is to get outside. Being outside reduces stress. And I know it's like, oh, it's winter. Guys, I'm in Canada. I know it's minus 32 here regularly in the winter, like Celsius. It's cold here. But getting outside, it resets us all, gets sun on your skin. Go for a quick walk. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to go hang out there for 8 hours. But like getting outside is a natural stress reducer, and it will make everybody feel better. It's why so many moms have sayings like, if your kids, toddlers especially, are acting out, add water or nature, because it really does reset the mood. So definitely utilize outside time. And then last but not least, check in with yourself and your kids throughout these activities, throughout the season. If something feels stressful or feels forced, don't do it. You don't have to do it. If you are like, oh, we need to do this because it's a tradition and we have to do, but it's stressing out your entire family and everybody is miserable, like, why are you doing it, right? Make sure you check in with yourself and reevaluate. Pay attention to how your kids are feeling. You know, let's say you have Santa photos lined up that day. If nobody's feeling it and nobody wants to go and it's gonna be a miserable time, don't do it. Just pick and choose your battles wisely and make sure that it's enjoyable for everybody, because that will naturally take out most of your holiday stress if you're not trying to force Christmas activities and stuff on your kids who maybe don't want to, or on yourself who don't want to. Okay, you guys, I hope these tips are helpful. Let me know if you have some down below for other families and other parents who are watching. We can all kind of pool them together and help each other out to keep this season less stressful and just actually enjoyable. I hope you have a really gentle, wonderful, enjoyable Christmas season this year. If you are going to start implementing some of these, feel free to let me know down below. Maybe you're a high stress kind of parent during the season and you want it to change, it can absolutely change. It doesn't have to be that way. I feel like people who dislike Christmas are usually stressed out people at Christmas. And if we can change that, that's better for everybody, right? So let me know if you have any tips and tricks for other people down in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in my next one tomorrow. Bye, guys.